Hello friends, myself Darshana Patel, working as an assistant professor at VS Patel College of Arts and Science BCA BBA course. I am over here to teach object oriented programming using C++. This is the first video of my lecture series on object oriented programming. Today's session, I am going to give an introduction on object-oriented programming concepts and compare object-oriented programming with procedure-oriented programming. In today's video, I will be discussing topics such as introduction of object-oriented programming, characteristics or features of object-oriented programming, advantages and disadvantages of object-oriented programming, application of OOPS, introduction of procedure-oriented programming, features or characteristics of procedure-oriented programming, and comparison between object-oriented programming and procedure-oriented programming. So let us start with all these topics one by one. Object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming is an approach that provides a way of modularizing program by creating partitioned memory area for both data and functions that can be used as a template for creating copies of such modules on demand. What does this mean? Now, as shown in the figure, the program is divided into objects and a part of memory is allocated to these objects to store data and set of operations, that is methods. This method can access the data stored within the object, and this method within the object acts as an interface for communication with other objects. Now since the memory partitions are independent, the objects can be used in variety of programs without modifications. Now, since object represents real world entities such as person, place, animal, birds or things, and so they match closely with the real world entities, and hence object oriented programming allows programmers to model real world scenarios using objects. Object-oriented programming treats data as critical element and so does not allow it to flow freely around the system. That is, in object-oriented programming, importance is given to the data, and so the data cannot be accessed outside the class, that is, outside the class that created it. Thus, in object-oriented programming, data is not global and so it cannot be accessed from outside anywhere. Object-oriented programming ties data closely to the functions that operates on this data and protects the data from accidental modification by the outside function. This means that object-oriented programming binds the data and the functions that operates on this data as a single entity, and so any code outside of this binded entities cannot access the data. Next, object-oriented programming allows decomposition of problem into number of entities called object, and then binds data and functions around this object. This means that before developing software, it is divided into number of small units called objects, and the data and functions that are relevant to that objects are binded within that object. Say for example, we want to create students object. So the data and functions that are related to the student object will be stored in student object. This student object will have data such as student name, roll number, birth date, phone number, etc. And the student object will have functions such as calculate student's age. The data of an object can be accessed only by the functions associated with object. However, the functions of one object can access the function of another object. What does this mean? This means that the data within the object are accessible by the functions that is enclosed within that same object as shown in the image. Say for example, the data of object A can be accessed only by the functions of object A. In the same way, the data of object B can be accessed only by the functions of object B. Now, if A wants to access the data of B or the data of C, it cannot do so. However, functions of one object can access the function of another object. This means that two objects can communicate with each other using member functions. As shown in the image, if function of object A wants to communicate with function of object B or function of object C, it can communicate. In the same way, function of object B can communicate with functions of object A and object C, and the same is applicable for object C. Features or characteristics of object-oriented programming. First, emphasis is on data rather than procedure. This means that in object-oriented programming, data is important as compared to the functions that manipulates the data. Second, programs are divided into object. That is, in object-oriented programming, complex programs are divided into modules, and each module in turn is divided into classes and objects. Third, data structures are designed such that they characterize the object. So, data structure means data organization, management, and storage format that enables efficient access and modification. In object-oriented programming, object is a runtime entity and represents person, place, animal, bird, or thing. In object-oriented programming, problems are analyzed in terms of objects. Fourth, data and related functions stay tied in classes. The definition of class contains data members and member functions, and the data members cannot be directly accessed from outside the class, and so we say that data and functions stay tied within a class. Next, data is secured as they can't be accessed by external functions. Now, in object-oriented programming has the concept of encapsulation. This encapsulation binds the data and the functions together in a single unit called class, and thereby it secures data. Next, data is hidden and cannot be accessed by external functions. Now, encapsulation hides data from the direct access by the program, and thereby hides the data or information from the outside world. Next, object may communicate with each other through functions. That is, an object-oriented programming consists of a set of objects that communicate with each other through message passing, that is, using functions. Next, object-oriented programming follows bottom-up approach in program design. Next, new data and functions can be easily added whenever necessary. That means that new data and functions can be easily added as and when required by the user. That is, if a class already exists and we need more data members and member functions, then instead of disturbing the existing class, we just need to inherit the old class into a new class and add new data members and new member functions into that newly created class. Next, follows bottom-up approach in program design. This means that in object-oriented programming, while developing complex systems, system is broken down into modules, and these modules are developed and tested, and then they are merged or integrated to form the complex system. Next, the complexity can be reduced. Now, since complex system is divided into modules, and these modules are built independently, and they are tried and tested as well, and then combining them to form the system, and thereby it reduces the complexity. Next, data types can be created based on the necessity. That is, in object-oriented programming, classes are user-defined data type, and this data type can be created as and when needed and can be changed based on the programmer's requirement. Benefits or advantages of object-oriented programming. First, reusability. This means that classes once created are tried and tested. And so, if same class is needed in many applications, we don't have to write it again. We just have to use it. That is, write once, use n number of times. Second, reduces data redundancy. This means that with the help of inheritance, we can reuse the existing class and derive new classes based on the existing class, and so redundant code is eliminated. Third, code maintenance. Large problems can be broken down into small and manageable problems. Fourth, security. In object-oriented programming, data within a class can be made private, and thereby only member functions of that class can access the data. This principle of data hiding helps the programmer to build secure programs. Also, in object-oriented programming, multiple instances of an object can coexist without interference. Fifth, design benefits. In object-oriented programming, it is easy to model real-world system because real-world entities are represented by the concepts of objects. Sixth, better productivity. In object-oriented programming, we don't have to start writing the code from scratch. We can build programs based on the standard working module, that is based on the existing module. This saves development time and gives higher productivity. Seventh, easily upgraded. In object-oriented programming, if we are already using a small system and we want to add many new features and functionalities, this can be easily managed because object-oriented programming follows bottom-up approach. Eighth, easy troubleshooting. Object-oriented programming are self-contained and each object does its own work. So when problems arise, we can easily identify which object is causing the error. For example, we are working on college module and there is an error related to attendance. So we don't have to search for error in the entire module. We know that there is problem only in the attendance class. Ninth, polymorphism flexibility. In object-oriented programming, with the help of polymorphism, software complexity can be easily managed because using function overloading or operator overloading, we can use same functions and same operators to act differently in different situations. For example, when plus operator is used with numeric data, it will perform addition. And when this same plus operator is used with string data, it will concatenate, that is, it will join two strings. Drawbacks of object oriented programming. First, execution overhead. That is, in object oriented programming, once a derived class is initialized, that means once the object of child class is created, all the data and functions from the base class are also created along with the child class. And some or most of this may not be useful, and so the derived class can be very complex because of inheritance and polymorphism concept. Second, steep learning curve. Object-oriented programming is different from traditional programming, and so the thought process involved in object-oriented programming may not be natural for some people, and so the concepts such as inheritance, polymorphism can be challenging to understand initially. Third, large program size. Since object oriented programming is used for solving real world problems, and so the size of programs are very large. Fourth, slower programs. Since the size of object oriented programming is large, and so the programs are slower in execution. Fifth, not suitable for all types of problems. Since there are different programming languages for different types of problems, and so object oriented programming is not suitable for all types of problems. Applications of object oriented programming. First, real time system. Real time system is a time bounded system, that is, processing must be done within defined time constraints. Otherwise, the system will fail. For example, air traffic control system. The complexity of real-time system can be easily handled using object-oriented programming technique. Second, simulation and modeling. Simulation and modeling is a method of creating virtual representation of real-world system using software and hardware. Simulation modeling solves real-world problems safely and efficiently. Simulation and modeling is used in military applications for training the soldiers in virtual world, and it is also used in civil engineering for designing and presentation of how the building and malls will look. Object-oriented programming makes this complex modeling system easier. Third, object-oriented database. In object-oriented database, the database is represented in the forms of classes and object. So using object-oriented programming, objects in real world can be easily mapped to the objects in database. Fourth, hypertext hypermedia, and expert system. Object-oriented programming helps in laying out framework for hypertext which is suitable for variety of media. Fifth, artificial intelligence and expert system. Artificial intelligence and expert systems are applications which uses database of expert knowledge for making decision. Object oriented programming is widely used in developing and designing such applications. Sixth, neural network and parallel programming. Neural networks are used for solving many business problems such as sales forecasts, customer research, data validations, risk management, etc. For developing these neural network projects, object oriented programming language is widely used. Seventh, decision support system. Decision support system is a computerized program used to support determination, judgment, and courses of action in an organization or business. Object oriented programming is widely used in developing and designing such applications. Procedure oriented programming. In procedure oriented programming language, the program is viewed as a sequence of things to be done. That is, program has start, input, calculation, display. Procedure oriented programming basically consists of writing a list of instructions for the computers to follow and organize these instructions into groups known as functions. That is, a program in a procedural language is a list of instructions where each statement tells the computer to do something. Say, for example, do calculations, do reading, do printing, etc. When program becomes large, it is broken down into small modules called functions. Thus, procedure-oriented programming is a set of functions. To perform any particular task, set of functions are compulsory. For example, a program may involve collecting data from users, performing some kind of calculations on that data, and printing the data on the screen when it is required. So, calculation, reading, printing can be written in a program with the help of different functions. Also, each function has clearly defined purpose. For example, printf function will be used only to display the data, and scanf function will be used to read the data. So, in procedure oriented programming, data are of two types: global data and local data, as shown in the figure. The global data are the data that are accessible and updatable by all the functions without any restrictions, whereas the local data are the data that belongs to particular functions and so it is not accessible outside that function. Characteristics of procedure oriented programming. First, emphasis is on doing things. That is, in procedure oriented programming, importance is given to the functions, whereas data is not given importance. It is given second class status, even though data is the reason for the existence of program. Second, large programs are divided into smaller modules called functions. Third, all functions share global data. That is, every function has complete access to the global variable. Next, data moves openly around the system from functions to functions. That is, since every function has complete access to the global variables, and so data moves freely from one function to another function. Next, top-down problem-solving approach. In top-down problem solving approach, main function is written first and then all subfunctions are called from main functions. Then subfunctions are written on the basis of requirement. Next, function transfers data from one form to another. Next, in case of large program, bringing change is difficult and time consuming. This means that in a large program, it is very difficult to identify what data is used by which functions. In case we need to revise an external data structure, we also need to revise all the functions that access the data, and this leads to the chances of having errors and bugs in our program. Next, data is not secured. Many important data items are placed as global variables, and so they may be accessible to all the functions. And thereby, there are chances that new programmers can corrupt the data accidentally by creating functions. Also, data moves openly around the system from functions to functions, and so it is difficult to track that which data is also altered by which functions and when and where it is altered. Problems or disadvantages of procedure oriented programming. First, procedural language are difficult to relate with real world object. So, in procedure oriented programming, functions are action oriented, and so they cannot relate to real world entities such as person, place, animal, birds, or things. And so we can say that procedural language cannot represent real world objects. Second, unrelated functions and data provides poor model of real world. This means that in procedure oriented programming, data and functions are independent. So neither data nor function can relate to real world objects effectively. Third, large programs becomes extensively complex. In procedure oriented programming, the code is continuously broken down into smaller and manageable pieces. So, with this approach, finding error in the code becomes more and more difficult as program or code gets longer and longer. Fourth, programs have unrestricted access to global data. Now, since every function has complete access to global variables, the new programmer can corrupt the data accidentally by creating functions. Fifth, there is no security for the data. In procedure oriented programming, many important data items are placed as global, so they may be accessible by all the functions, and thereby chances that new programmers can corrupt the data accidentally. Also, since data moves openly around the system from functions to functions, it is difficult to keep track that which data is altered when and where. Difference between object oriented programming and procedure oriented programming. First, problem solving. In object oriented programming, problems are divided into smaller parts called objects. In procedure oriented programming, problem is divided into smaller parts called functions. Second, approach. In object oriented programming, programs follow bottom-up approach. That is, small modules are being built independently and are combined together to form a large software. Whereas in procedure-oriented programming, programming follows top-down approach, where problem is seen as a whole, and when needed, small functions are developed to support it. Third, code reusability. In object-oriented programming, existing codes can be reused by applying the concepts of inheritance, whereas in procedure-oriented programming, there is no concept of inheritance, and so reusability of code is difficult to apply. Fourth, problem size. Object-oriented programming is suitable for solving large and complex problems, whereas procedure-oriented programming is suitable for solving smaller programs that are not complicated. Fifth, overloading. Object-oriented programming provides the concept of function overloading and operator overloading, whereas in procedure-oriented programming, there is no concept of function overloading or operator overloading. Sixth, data hiding. In object-oriented programming, there is a concept of encapsulation, whereby data are secured and cannot be accessed by outside world. In procedure-oriented programming, there is no concept of encapsulation. Also, data are global, and so data are not hidden and they flow freely around the system. Seventh, modification. In object-oriented programming, it is easy to add and modify new and existing features easily, whereas in procedure-oriented programming, addition or modification of features is difficult. Eighth, security. In object-oriented programming, data is hidden and so data is secured from outside world, whereas in procedure-oriented programming, data flows freely around the system and can be modified by any function. Hence, the data is not secured. Sixth, example of languages. In object-oriented programming, the languages used are C++, Java, Python. For procedure-oriented programming, languages are C, Fortran, Pascal, etc. 10th, access specifier. In object-oriented programming, there are different access specifiers such as public, private, and protected. Whereas in procedure-oriented programming, there are no such access specifier. 11th, data moving. In object-oriented programming, data cannot move freely in the system. In procedure-oriented programming, data flows freely around the system from one function to another function.